is a keyword? Let's find out. People talk about this often. So a keyword is simply the word or phrase that buyers type into the search engine to try and find items. And a superstar keyword is that really great keyword that you've identified that totally describes what your item is, but is also well enough searched, but with low enough competition to go up against, that you've identified that as a really great target to aim for. But keywords don't actually always seem to make sense. When we have it in our heads what an item is and we do a little bit of keyword research, we might actually find the keywords that are coming up don't seem to make a lot of sense. So when people say think like a shopper, you've got to think like how people search. So for example, when I'm going out for a night on the town, I might want to know when the night bus from Glasgow is, but I don't necessarily search like that. Quite often you might find yourself putting the most important word in search, just 1 or 2 words, and see what the search brings up. So I might hit bus because Google often knows what location I'm in, so that might give me a good enough result. So I hit bus. I don't like the search results, so instead of typing in a new keyword, I'll just add a tag onto the end of that. So it would now say bus Glasgow. That's still not helping me. Want to be more specific. So bus Glasgow, night bus, Saturday. So that's not necessarily what you would think of when you were thinking what should the keywords be for the timetable for the night bus on a Saturday going into Glasgow. But that might be how some people search. So hopefully you already have a list of keywords or a list of phrases that you think that shoppers might use to describe your items. So I have a small task for you. Check different orders of those keywords. Try and find out how shoppers actually search. So for example, if you have a large red faux leather purse, think how shoppers might actually search for that. Rather than that way around, they might start with the most important thing, purse, and then think they want a large one. So it would be purse large, then purse large red, and then the material, purse large red faux leather. So experiment with finding different orders for your superstar keyword. The 3 factors that go into identifying a good keyword. You know keywords are important, but you just don't know what makes a good keyword. Today, I want to share with you the 3 factors you need to consider when picking your keywords. These factors you need to consider are relevance, traffic, and competition. Let's imagine a jeweler selling rings. Now, this is a very competitive niche, and not only that, the rings are likely very expensive to make. So you want to have an idea of what keywords are going to be good for your item before you even go off and make hundreds and thousands of rings. You think engagement ring could be a good keyword for your items, but you just don't know if it'll make you sales or not, and you really need to know this before you go and start making them. So how are we supposed to know if it'll sell? That's why we have these 3 factors. First, you have to ask yourself, is this keyword relevant? Does it describe my items? Keywords describing wedding rings are fairly relevant. However, keywords describing wedding cakes or PDF tutorials for making a wedding ring are not so relevant, because the intent of the buyer when they search those things is not for a ready-made ring. So even if you showed up in the search for those searched terms, you would be very unlikely to sell because the keyword is not relevant. So the very most important factor when picking keywords is always to think of, does this accurately describe my item? Factor number 2 is how much traffic these keywords have. How many people are looking for items using these terms? It doesn't matter if you found the most descriptive keyword for your bronze opal steampunk engagement ring. If nobody's searching for it, you'll never get found for it. But a shorter keyword like steampunk ring might be searched more and might be better. In fact, when I use the eRank, I see that steampunk engagement ring potentially gets more traffic than steampunk wedding ring. Also, I want to be aware of potential seasonality. Some terms are not popular all year round. Tools like eRank can really help you get some ideas for potential keywords, but they're only tools and you will still have to rely on trial and error once you've identified these terms. The final factor is competition. The keyword ring might look amazing. It's got loads of people searching for it, so that's great, right? But when we look at the competition, it might just be way too competitive for our little item to even show up in the search. And if we don't show up in the search, we don't get seen at all. So likely we want to experiment with keywords with a little less competition. So when we go back again to eRank and compare our steampunk wedding ring to our steampunk engagement ring, the steampunk engagement ring has lower competition as well as higher searches. And this had a peak in December last year, so perhaps it's worth trying it towards the end of this year too. Although for steady sales, this might not be good. So let's dig deeper and look at the stone, the opal. Making either an engagement or a wedding ring in a boulder or raw stone might maximize your chances of having an item that sells year round. Finding keywords that are relevant with high enough traffic and low enough competition is a real balancing act. We have to experiment to land on the right one. So I have a task for you. Rather than searching for your keywords after the item's already made, try today identifying some potential keywords for items that you could possibly make that you haven't made before, but that have promising looking keywords to experiment with. And then hopefully make something slightly different, but that customers are searching for. I've got a super secret keyword tip that I bet you've never heard before. Did you know that one keyword can actually double or triple the number of searches you get found in? This is my super secret nested keyword strategy. Sometimes when people are looking for keywords, they'll dismiss terms because they have just too much competition. In general, these tend to be single word or short phrased keywords. They are high competition, but they also often have really high traffic. So these are no good keywords, right? But the shops ranking for these keywords, they tend to be really big shops with lots of sales, so they wouldn't be aiming for bad keywords, right? These are generally examples of broad keywords. They're not very specific, so lots of people search for them. But when these people search for them, they don't really know what they're searching for, so the likelihood of them actually buying when they search for them is pretty low. For example, if you search for the term ring, you're going to see lots of different types of rings, and it's unlikely the ring you see will be in the style that you want. So what people will mostly do after that, it might give them some inspiration for the kind of direction they want to go, and they might look for a different keyword. But the example of the bronze and opal steampunk engagement ring, that is so super specific that if somebody searched for that and saw your item, they would be very likely to buy it. However, the chance of someone searching for it is pretty low. This is an example of what's called a long-tail keyword. And an example like this is so long-tail as to barely be a keyword at all because no one's actually searching for it. Obviously, the holy grail for keywords would be to find a keyword that lots of people are searching for, but there's practically no listing, so nobody's competing against you. Well, but actually there's another type of keyword. It can be difficult to find, but if you're looking out for it, it really can give you a bit of a competitive edge. Think of those lovely Russian nesting dolls. They have a doll within a doll within a doll. That's what our nesting keywords are like. A nested keyword has a keyword inside a keyword inside a keyword. So bronze and opal steampunk engagement ring is a terrible keyword. No one's searching for it. But wait, it contains the word ring. So if we optimize for bronze and opal steampunk engagement ring, we're also optimized for the term ring. But that's just given the same dilemma, isn't it? It's too competitive. Or is it? Engagement ring would also be optimized for in that. It's a bit less competitive, but it might still be too competitive. Now, is steampunk engagement ring actually a term? Kind of. But if we try different words, opal engagement ring seems to have regular views. This might actually be a better term. Oh, and we can go even deeper. Black opal engagement ring. People do seem to search for that. and there's not a lot of competition, so we might be able to rank for that. So if I made a really great listing of a black opal engagement ring and it was able to search, and when people saw that item in that search they were more likely to buy it than the other items in that search, then Etsy would like that item, it's making the money, and would show it more often in the search, and it would start to rank higher in the search. It would get more sales, it would get more reviews. This would send a good metric of trust to Etsy that this was a good item. So it might start to experiment with it in the keyword phrase opal engagement ring. This has more people searching for it, so a chance that we'd get seen more often. And if it does well against the other listings in that search term, it would sell more, Etsy would show it a bit more, Etsy would get more confidence with it, it would get more sales, it would get more positive reviews. So now we might be ranking for a term against 20,000 other people that we couldn't have ranked for if we tried there straight away. And now Etsy might start showing us for engagement ring. And at this point, if we did just averagely compared to all the other items for engagement ring, then we might just stick at engagement ring and never make it into the search for ring. Or if we have a super awesome item, we can use these nested keywords to climb and climb up to more and more competitive searches, while still being seen for your original long tail keyword. Now, obviously not all keywords can be nested, but I have a task for you. When searching for keywords, try and find some potential nested keywords.
You are so wrong about Etsy tags. Have you ever found a great keyword, then realised it didn't fit into an Etsy tag, so gave up on it? Or snooped on a shop and been frustrated because their tags are terrible, but yet they're ranking? That is because you are so wrong about Etsy tags. I am going to flip your thinking about tagging your items, so you're really going to want to stick around this video. Tags are part of the metadata for your Etsy listing. They are not for the customer, but they're for the search engine to know what it is that your item is. They are not keywords. Keywords is what the customer types into the search box on Etsy to find items. Tags are what we put into the tag box to tell Etsy what our items are. Tags and keywords can be confused as the same thing because a search engine tends to give more weighting for tags that match exactly the keyword, i.e. they have the exact same words in the same order. For example, if a customer searches for canvas tote bag for two items that are identical in every other way, the one item that has canvas tote bag, exactly that, in their tags is likely to rank higher than the item that has tote bag canvas in their tags. But both are going to rank because the algorithm is able to take the words from different places in the tags, or from different tags, or from your attributes, from all sorts of places. It's able to take these individual words and mix and match them into a keyword. So a listing with one tag of canvas tote and another tag of messenger bag will be able to match for the keyword canvas tote bag. So if you've found a keyword that's more than the 20 characters permitted in a tag, for example, our bronze and opal steampunk engagement ring, then that is not a problem. You will not be penalised in search for not having the exact match because you have to split that keyword up, because every other seller has the exact same problem. Everybody is going to have to break up that keyword across more than one tag. But let's think about the best ways to possibly break that up. Bronze and opal? Okay, yeah, that's 15 characters. Steampunk engagement? Yep, 20 characters. That would work as a tag. But that leaves ring on its own. So how are we going to go about splitting this up? Now, if we look at the competition for bronze and opal steampunk ring, there are only 2 other listings that match that. So just so long as we have the words somewhere, we're going to rank for it. It's pretty impossible not to rank for it. So we don't have to worry about an exact match. So let's be more strategic about how we split these terms up. Because if we're clever, we might be able to split these up so we get an exact match for more keyword terms. Bronze and opal, simply not a keyword. Nobody is searching for it. So That's a bit of a waste of time to put into a tag. Engagement ring is very competitive. However, opal engagement ring, as we found in our last video, is less competitive. That might be a good thing to go for. It's 20 characters. Perfect. Opal engagement ring, that's one possible tag. Bronze steampunk, again, nobody's really searching for that, so it's not really a keyword. So let's think a bit harder. What about bronze ring men? That is searched for sometimes. That is a keyword. It still describes our item. There's a possibility. And steampunk ring, again, has not bad searches and is descriptive of our item. Or if we could easily rank for steampunk ring anyway without the exact match, what about steampunk jewellery? Still describes our item. It's high competition, but it has good searches, so maybe it's worth a risk. So we could split this really specific Longtail keyword into 3 tags. Opal engagement ring, bronze ring men, and steampunk jewellery. So not only does that mean that we would match and rank for our target keyword, it also means that we've got a chance of ranking for 3 other good keywords. And with the mix and match nature of that, there's chance for turning up for some other keyword terms that we didn't even think of, like steampunk engagement ring. And before you slam me in the comments there that I'm using the word ring twice, I'm going to go into depth why that isn't necessarily a bad thing. And also why Etsy has even shown us in some of their suggestions why breaking things up to keyword phrases that maybe have a word duplicated here and there isn't necessarily a bad thing if you want to specifically rank for that very term. Sure, we could use jewellery, we could use different terms to explain jewellery, and that might give us the chance for ranking for more things, but if it's a really good keyword, we want to get the exact match. Do Etsy tags even matter? Shops can rank with one-word tags, and they can even rank without all their tags filled in. And when we're making a listing, Etsy even tells us right there that tags are optional. So, do tags even matter? Now, I have my thoughts, theories and experience on this, but I thought it would be better if I did a science experiment and showed you. So before we get started, obviously this is a limited experiment. I only have a few shops to experiment with, and it's not perfect, but we have some interesting results that I think you're going to love. And hopefully it's going to answer a whole load of questions that you had about tags. And you're really going to want to stick around because I discovered just a change in your tags can change your ranking position from in the 300s to position number 1. Now I'm going to explain how I did my experiment, and feel free never to just take my word for it. Test for yourself if you want to. But what I did with my new shop, basically, I don't have time to set up a new shop properly, so it's been a bit neglected, so it doesn't have great sales history, great search history. It's just kind of sitting there, so I thought that was an ideal one. And I discovered there's a search term that's not massively searched for, which means I don't have much search history for it, and it does have a fair amount of competition, but I'm able to rank for it. And that search term was dog portrait digital. So what I did was I took one of my listings that's ranking at the bottom of that and copied the listing, and all I did was change the tags. And then change the tags, list that item, pay my 20 cents, so it's costing me 20 cents for every experiment here, and then I waited 30 minutes to make sure that Etsy spotted it, did a quick search on eRank to find out where everything was. Now I know there's limitations to any kind of searching because of the personalizations and everything, so searching on the rank checker on eRank just gives me an idea of what Etsy's thinking of our SEO. It doesn't tell me exactly where the item's going to be. It's impossible to do that. But it tells me, is Etsy seeing this as good SEO? Is it seen as better? Is it seeing it as worse? Does it make no difference? So, like any experiment, I planned out some ideas for what things I wanted to test for, and for each new experiment, after I'd checked the rank, I would deactivate that listing and then leave it a little while for everything to settle out, and then create a new listing copied from the original listing, only changing the tags again. It's not an ideal experiment, but it's the best I've got. So here's my list of the experiments that I performed, Give it a listen and tell me, before we go any further, what you think will have done best and what you think will have done worst. So, first experiment was absolutely no tags at all. Just the title, the attributes, everything that's already there, no tags. Would it rank? Would it rank high? Would it rank low? What would happen? Next experiment was just single one-word tags. So one tag could be dog, the other tag could be digital, the other tag could be portrait, and then other random words I thought of. Third test was for irrelevant tags, tags that didn't contain any words from my target keyword. Fourth test was only the tag dog, portrait, digital, nothing else. Fifth experiment was only good tags. What people recommend, so having the keyword in one of the tags, but then also having other relevant, good, long tail keywords. Or the best I could manage at short notice. The sixth test was repeating keywords. People often complain and say you shouldn't use the same words. So I had a go at repeating some of the words. And the final test was to break up the tags. So I had multiple word tags, and in one tag I would have the word dog, another tag I would have portrait, and then another tag digital, because we know Etsy can pick and mix and match. So let me know in the comments down below which ones you think it will have done best, which ones will have done worst, and will the bad ones even rank at all? And also let me know, was there any tests that I missed there? Was there any ways of doing tags that you would have preferred to see? Okay, let's look at these results. So test number 1, no tags. At 30 minutes, this was ranking at rank position 319. That's way down on page 7. One word tags after 30 minutes, that ranked on page 1, position 19. Irrelevant tags, tags that have nothing to do with that keyword, that was again at exactly 319. Position 319 on page 7. Exactly the same as no tags. Only the tag dog, portrait, digital, and no other tags. Page 1, position 1. Good tags, following best practices, filling in all the tags, including the dog, portrait, digital. Page 1, position 1, exactly the same as just having the one good tag. Repeating tags, having the word dog, having portrait, having digital, several times across several different tags. Yeah, page 1, position 1. And the broke up tags, taking each individual word from that keyword we have and mixing and matching it, scattering it throughout other tags. Page 1, position 19. So one thing that I was super interested in with this experiment was how repeatable the position was. If I did something that was very bad, if the keywords were not in the tags at all, then my listing always ranked at this position 319. If my tags were individual words scattered about through the tags, whether it was in other keywords or just single words, they always ranked at position 19. And if anyway, anyhow, the tags had the entire exact match, it was always position 1, page 1. So what is this telling us? Is this telling us that the advice Etsy and everyone else gives us is wrong? Actually, no. Etsy has always told us exact match will give us a slight boost in rankings. It's also told us it can pick and choose words from different keywords. That's all true. And it's also told us there's a boost in ranking if your title and your tags both have the keyword in them. So although my title was optimized for this term, if my tags weren't, then it was way down the lowest ranking. Obviously, if I didn't have the words in at all, it wouldn't have ranked at all. But when the words were in my title but not my tags, that made a big difference. So what is this advice about one-word tags and not repeating a word? Why is it there? Well, simply there's two pieces of advice here, literally. You either want to know how to optimize to rank the best for that one specific term, or you want the advice to know how to rank for as many terms as possible. And it's a balancing act. If you only have one tag, you're focusing in only on that one keyword phrase. Now, you might rank very well, but you won't be seen in other searches. However, if you have all your tags used, then you've got a chance of hitting lots of different searches, but it doesn't make a blind bit of difference for that one individual search term. Irrelevant tags don't matter for the one search term. They matter for hitting a range of search terms. And again, single word tags don't make any difference compared to that single word in a tag with other irrelevant terms. It's just a question of space. If you just use single word tags, there's literally less words you can use across those 13 tags, and so there's less chance of ranking. But I will say, for most people, most of your tags are not going to rank. Most of your keywords are not going to be good for your listing. So if you find what's really working, yes, you could absolutely focus in and make your keywords a lot more specific and not try and aim for everything. But when you're just starting out, it might be a good idea to try experimenting with as many keywords and as many words as possible. And then if you discover that certain keywords are working better for you and you want to rank higher for them, you could perhaps focus your tags in a little bit more. And don't worry if the word ring is duplicated in a couple of the keywords. If you want to rank well for them, there's no penalty for having it in both keywords. Etsy titles. What is the best way to write your titles to get the best results, to rank the highest on Etsy? If you haven't already seen, in a previous video I did a scientific experiment to figure out the best way to tag my listings, just simply for ranking for the one keyword that I decided I want to rank for. And as titles are an important part of our metadata, an important part of what we tell Etsy about our listing, I thought I would repeat that with the titles. I kept the experiment as similar as I possibly could. So this was in my second shop, which I don't really have time to work on, so it's pretty dead. And I picked the term dog portrait digital that I know that I can rank for. It's got a fair amount of competition, so I can't rank for it super easily, but I also know nobody's really searching for it just now, so I wasn't likely to spoil my results by having people accidentally clicking on it and buying it when I was just running an experiment. I took one of my listings that's at the bottom of the pile here, that's ranking the lowest for this, and for each different term I copied that listing and created a brand new listing for that. So it's fresh, it has no different data on it, it has no links, nobody's seen it yet. And then all I changed was the title. I kept the tags and the attributes and everything else exactly the same and just changed the title. So here are the different experiments I ran, and let me know in the comments, what do you think will have done better? What do you think will have done worse? And was there any experiments I missed? So the first was only my keyword dog portrait digital in the title, nothing else in the title. And then I tried a title without my keyword in it, without dog portrait digital. Now that term is still scattered about in the tags, so Etsy should hopefully know still that's what my item's about, but it's not in the title at all. And then I went for longer titles but had dog portrait digital right at the start of the title with other keywords afterwards. Then the exact same keywords as the last test, but dog portrait digital was at the end of the title. Then the words dog, portrait and digital, not together, not all in one place, but broken up. And finally, dog portrait digital, that phrase repeated 3 times in the title. So my thoughts behind these experiments. Firstly, people talk about if you repeat yourself in a title, if you use the same terms again and again, this is held against you. I've also seen from working in Google SEO and other search engines that if you have a longer title, if you have more irrelevant words, then your ranking power could be diluted. So I wanted to double check that to see if that's the case on Etsy. Etsy do tell us that the position in the title shouldn't make a difference, but hey, I wanted to check. And also I wanted to check how important the title was. My belief has always been that the title is your most important position, so not having the keyword in the title could really make a difference to how we rank or not. So let's have a look at the results. So only having the title of dog portrait digital, that has us ranking in position 1, page 1 of the search. Not having dog portrait digital at all, that does not show up anywhere. Now this doesn't mean it's not matched at all. I'm searching on eRank to find where everything is, so it's just not in the top 500 terms that eRank searches for. But still, not being in the top 500, nobody's going to find you. So, dog portrait digital at the start of a longer title, we are ranking at position 20 on page 1. Dog portrait digital at the end of the title, we're ranking at position 23, rank 1. Dog portrait digital, the words broken up and not all in the phrase together, is on page 5, ranking in position 207. And dog portrait digital repeated 3 times across the title. Page 1, rank 19. So looking at these results, my hypothesis is correct. If you are wanting to rank highly for one term that you have discovered, your title is your most important real estate, and the more words you use, it becomes diluted and you rank slightly less. It's still on page 1, so it's only a little bit less. But perhaps if you'd identified a really, really good keyword and you just needed to rank a little better for it to experiment, if you have other irrelevant terms in your title that are not helping you rank, that you've decided are not good keywords for you, cut them out. And if you don't have the term in your title, it's unlikely to do very well. So again, if you're wanting to practice, if you're wanting to test a different keyword term, it's going to have to go into your title for Etsy to really know what it's about. Matching your title and your tags to that most important keyword term is important. With a longer title, it looks like there is a slight benefit from having your keyword at the start rather than the end of the title. However, it's only 3 places, so that might be within natural variations of ranking things. So it's not too much of a big deal. It is a much bigger deal the more words you're putting in the title by the looks of things. Having your keyword broken up in a phrase, not an exact match to what the keyword actually is, makes a big difference. That's taken you from page 1 to page 5. That is the difference between a buyer seeing you in the search and most of them getting bored of flicking through pages and not even seeing you at all. So although we know that Etsy can take the individual words and mash them together into its own keyword, if it's the most important, if it's your superstar keyword, then it's best to have it together in that one phrase. And repeating the phrase throughout your title, repeating the same word a couple of times, does not penalise you any more at all than having more words in your title. It does not hurt you at all. Now you've got to decide on the balancing act. If you go too focused with your title, then you only have the option to rank for that one keyword. So if that keyword is the most important thing and you really, really want to rank for it, then that might be the way you want to go. But if you have a good shop score, if you're getting lots of sales and reviews, you might be able to rank easier for terms. So if you're ranking really high up, you might want to diversify and add more terms to your title to get a chance of ranking for more and diverse keywords.
How do we choose the best keyword when there's several options available? I'm going to show you my step-by-step process with a real example in eRank group on Facebook, and if you're not already a member, you really want to get over there and join, let them know I sent you. But we were asked this really awesome question. I don't know what to do. These are quite similar keywords. Which one do I choose? And they linked to an image from eRank's Keyword Explorer, showing the average searches, clicks, click-through rate and Etsy competition, but not the keywords. The competition, that is the number of listings that show up in an Etsy search for that keyword, for that searched term, are all quite similar. So how do we decide which one's the best out of the information we've been given here? So when we look at how searched they are, the rankings are 1, 3 and 2. Number 1 is the most searched for. So is that the most important order? But if we look at click-through rate, it's 2, 1, 3. So number 2 is suddenly the highest click-through rate. And the click-through rate is the percent of people who go on and click on an item they see in the search when they've searched for something. So it suggests a high buyer intent. When they search, they see items they like the look of, rather than if they search, they don't really see the things they want, so they go for another search or they leave Etsy altogether. So search term number 2 has 66% click-through rate. That's pretty high. And search term 3 has 11%. That's fairly terrible. And then looking at the average number of clicks, that's simply the number of people clicking on those listings. The order is 1, 2, 3. So just looking at the details we have, each one of these listings has about the same chance of getting seen in search. They're all up against about the same number of competition. But number 1 gets the most number of views in total for the month. And number 2 has the highest click-through rate, so that's possibly the biggest indicator that people want to buy. So we need to look deeper here. Let's see what these actual keywords are. We have pins for backpacks, backpack pin, and backpack pins. When we look at backpack pin over time, it seems from the graph there's been one big spike in 1 month, and then it falls away to pretty much no search volume. This could mean that there was 1 month where backpack pin as a term was featured somewhere, so that's skewed the data in favour, making that term look more searched than it is. But pins for backpacks has search volume steady pretty much all through the year. This looks like it might be a good one. Also, plurals are seen by the matching algorithm as the same thing, so they'll show up in the same searches. It's just if you match exactly what the buyer's typing in, if the buyer types in the plural, if your item is in the plural, then it'll rank slightly higher than the singular, but the singular will still show up in search. So in this case, if you use the term pins for backpacks and it did well in that search, which is a year-round fairly high volume, there's a really good chance that you would show up for the other searches anyway. So looking at all the data that's available to us, we've got more chance of people searching and a large number of people clicking through if we use the pins for backpacks. And it could help us rank for the other terms as well, so that looks like that one's the good one.
What is a long-tail keyword? A long-tail keyword is specific. It generally has more words to it, less people searching, but when they do search, they're more likely to click. It shows intent, and it's the opposite of a broad keyword. A broad keyword would be something like the word ring, compared to a long-tail keyword could be bronze and opal steampunk engagement ring, or how to make a ring with the lost wax method. You have a much better idea what the person wants to know when they search for those terms. It's clear what they want. What are the benefits of a long-tail keyword? Well, there's less competition. There's less people out there trying to get found for these long-tail keywords. And you're attracting the exact audience that you want, the exact people that want whatever it is you're making. Also, as it's less competitive, there's probably a less cost per click if you're buying ads. And on top of that, people are more likely to buy, so win-win in the money fronts. And it also can kind of contain nested keywords. I've spoke about this in videos in the past. If you're aiming for bronze and opal steampunk engagement ring, you could also be ranking for steampunk engagement ring. But the cons where most people get hung up on is just because something's got a lot of words and not many people are searching for it, no one can find you, you can't get any views, sales or clicks. So tools might be able to help us with an idea of what a long tail keyword is, but we have to use that with common sense. They're only tools.
Hey, I'm going to share with you the 5 things that you can work on right now to indirectly increase your Etsy SEO rank and hopefully make some sales. The first and the most important thing that you should always be working on is your photos and videos. This is the thing that people often forget. You spend the time making a wonderful item, you even spend the time doing keyword research, you craft titles and descriptions, and then you point the camera and just press the button. If you've got a little while to work on your shop, learning to take better photos is the most important thing. Amazing photographs will raise you up above the competition way before anything else will. I have seen some fairly terrible items that have brilliant photographs. Photographs get shared on social media. Photographs attract magazine editors. Photographs get shared. Photographs get loved. photographs get items bought. And the same now that we have listing videos, super important. So if you have 10 minutes spare and you want to work on your shop, look up a tutorial on how to edit videos. Look up a product photography guide. Search for tutorials on the camera you have. Jump into Amazon and buy some better lighting to light your subject a bit better. Tiny steps to improve your photography is one of the most important things you can do. Now, the algorithm doesn't see your photographs, but buyers do. And if buyers buy your items more because the photographs are more eye-catching, then you're going to rank better. Number 2 is social media. This is so big. Social media is a way to grow off of Etsy, for your followers to be able to find you and talk to you and interact with you. And also it's a helpful way to build up excitement if you're doing a new launch, or to drive traffic to something that needs a bit of love. And it also future-proofs you, just in case you decide to either start your own website or Etsy closes your shop at some point. You have an audience somewhere else and you can direct them. If they were looking for you on Etsy, you can now direct them to your website. But it can help your Etsy SEO because you have a way, if you've got a launch coming up, you can tease this and then send them in a chunk to your brand new listing so you get a lot of good views early on. This can help your ranking. Obviously, don't game the system, but if they're followers that love your work, yeah, they can help you out, get some early sales in, get you ahead of the competition. Number 3 is descriptions. We know that Etsy doesn't look at descriptions for the SEO. However, some buyers read them. Not all buyers by a long shot, but some buyers read them. If you can answer the questions, because if a buyer looks at a listing and wonders something, a large proportion of people, if they have a question on an item and it's not easily answered, they'll just move on. They'll swipe right. They'll say, is it right? Or I don't do dating apps. They'll swipe and they'll say, no, too difficult. I'm going to go to this other listing that I understand. So if your description answers the questions for them, then they're more likely to buy. And also your description can help them fall in love with your item. For the people that do read, you can craft a story. You can explain how your item was created. You can make them fall in love with the process, then fall in love with your item, then buy your item. So the description can help you rank better. Number 4 is more listings. Now, it's not a case that having 100 listings or 200 listings will automatically help you sell better. Etsy doesn't rank you higher for having more listings. However, you can link between listings. So in the description of one listing, you can say, do you like this hat? How about this gloves? Or here's a set of them. You can direct people around your shop. And also more listings allows you to experiment with different SEO and different photography and see what it is that customers like. So adding a few more listings might help because there are more opportunities to get found. And the 5th thing is more keywords. If you've got a few minutes, you can have a look for different tags, get some different ideas. If your listings weren't working great, maybe cut away some of those tags that weren't working anyway and try some different words, try some synonyms of words you were using. Look for different tags that other sellers of similar items are using and find different keywords that different buyers are using. Sometimes just a simple word change helps everything. For years, I had my custom dog sculptures that weren't doing great. One of the listings I changed from custom to personalized. Kaboom! I raised the dead with that listing. It went from nothing to one of my best-selling listings. So experiment with your tags and your titles. Basically find different keywords. If you're interested in ranking factors and improving your Etsy SEO and your ranking, I have a whole playlist of videos you're going to want to binge. Today I want to share with you the 6 surprising things that are not factors in where you rank on Etsy. Number 1, descriptions. So many people keyword stuff their descriptions, and this is probably the reason that Etsy doesn't even bother reading the descriptions to go into your ranking. It doesn't matter. Your descriptions are for your customers, so make sure the most important things are in there. Now, Google does read your descriptions, but Google's smart. Don't try and outsmart Google. It's not going to happen. Google is well aware and hates if you keyword stuff. So yes, your keywords are descriptive of your item, so use them in in your description in a natural sentence. Don't just try and randomly stuff in words. Google hates that. Etsy doesn't read it. 2 is the number of photos. Etsy gives us 10 spaces for photos. And some people think because we have the 10 spaces, we have to fill it all in. But the algorithm is not like a checkbox. It's not going, oh, this person has 10 images, so I'll show them higher than this person with only 4. The photographs are there again to help the customer. So if you only need 2 or 3 photographs to show everything of your item, say it was a digital item, there's only so much you can show of a digital item. Then the number of photos you need is the number of photos you need. There are, of course, other things you can add in the photographs. Show how the item's going to be used. Even show some of your good reviews. Show how you package an item. Show a little bit of your workstation. But if you don't need 10 photos, you don't need 10 photos. You won't be penalised. And following on from that, 3 is listing videos. You will not rank higher for adding a video. The purpose of adding videos is not to increase your ranking. Of course, this is a lovely visual thing that people might share. They're great to have, and also it increases the time on your page. Now, it's debatable whether this is a ranking factor anyway. Etsy has never told us this, but what happens if a person's scrolling through a listing and something sticks, something makes them stop, and a moving image is that thing. If they stop, they see your beautiful fabric flowing in the wind and catching the light. They spend a little more time on your listing. That's more time where they're falling in love with your work, so they're more likely to buy. So listing videos are awesome. They can help your buyer convert more, but they're not there just to make you rank higher. Number 4 is having all 13 tags. Again, the algorithm is not a checkbox. It's not saying, yes, this person has 13 tags, we will rank them higher. To rank for one keyword, say amethyst necklace, just as long as you have amethyst necklace in one of your tags, that is enough. For Etsy to decide where to put you in the search for amethyst necklace, it doesn't matter if you have sterling silver jewellery as another tag. It is not important how many tags you have for each keyword you're trying to rank for, just so long as you are optimised for that keyword. Now, that doesn't mean that you don't need to use all 13 tags. The more tags you have, the more opportunity you have to be seen for more different keywords, but it won't rank you higher for each of the individual keywords. Number 5 is multi-word tags. Now, an exact match, so amethyst necklace. If you have the 2 words amethyst necklace in one tag, that will rank you slightly. You will be more relevant for amethyst necklace than if you had a tag amethyst and necklace. But if you had amethyst necklace and the rest of your tags were 1-word tags, it really doesn't matter. And also, if you were aiming for amethyst necklace silver, which is a bizarre keyword that exists, it doesn't matter how you split that up if it's too long for one keyword. If you have amethyst necklace and another tag that's silver, you will rank just as highly for amethyst necklace silver as if you had tags that were amethyst necklace and silver. They're all just as relevant. Multi-word tags just mean you have more space to put more terms to get seen for more keywords. And the final one, number 6, is clicks and hearts from team games. People used to play team games where every member of the team would post up a listing and then go and look at everyone else's listing and click on them and heart on them. It's a term now, heart on them. And it did boost you up in the rankings because Etsy was seeing activity on those listings. But Etsy got wise to that. That means nothing to a customer. It doesn't say if your item's very good. It just says if you're spending time in team games. So hearts and clicks from teams don't count. Hearts and clicks that you've gamed that come from people who aren't buyers don't count. I'm sharing this with you so you don't spend time worrying about things that aren't ranking factors. In the main, don't try and game the system. Create awesome listings. Figure out what people are looking for. Tell Etsy that you've made the thing that people are looking for, and the sales will start to come in. 6 of the most important things that can directly affect where you rank in search. So in one of my previous videos, I went through the 6 things that don't impact your position in search, so I've really got to tell you the things that do. First one is your title. This is your prime real estate. This is the most important place that Etsy is looking at your keywords to decide if you're relevant for a certain search term. So use your title for those superstar keywords. Experiment. People will tell you to keyword stuff. People will tell you not to keyword stuff. Don't listen to any of us. See what works for you. Number 2 is tags. Like titles, slightly less important in terms of ranking, but Etsy tells us they look at our tags and our titles to decide what we're relevant for and to help us rank in search. So make sure your titles are relevant. Number 3 is sales. This is a very good metric for Etsy. It tells them that people who are seeing your items are liking them and buying them. This is one of the most important metrics. Etsy looks at all your other things and decides where to rank you, where to give you a chance. But when it puts you out there in the world for the customers to see, when it experiments with you, then it wants to see how your listing does. And most especially, it wants to see how your listing does for the individual keyword. So if buyers love your item more than they love someone else's, it doesn't matter if that other person's SEO is slightly better. If buyers like it more, that's way more important. Following on from that, number 4 is the best item for that search. It's not just overall sales. Overall sales, the rising tide raises all ships. Absolutely is true. So getting sales is great, but specifically for that keyword. So if Etsy shows your item for a summer hat and a sunflower dress, and your item's a sunflower dress, it's not going to hurt you if it doesn't make sales for the summer hat because Etsy showed you in the wrong place. So all it will do is say, okay, well, this item is not very relevant for the summer hat, but if it does well for the sunflower dress, it will show up better for the sunflower dress. So how you do for the specific keywords you're being shown for. Number 5 is your customer experience. So you've made the sale, but also Etsy is looking at how well they are treated afterwards. And they're not worrying about if you have to cancel an order. This happens, all these are good customer service things. What they are worried about is what review the customer leaves you. Now, you can't control. Some customers will never leave reviews. Some customers will never leave a 5-star review. So you're not going to be penalised for something like a 4-star review or the occasional low review. This happens. But the proportion of 5-star reviews you get to the number of sales is important, and Etsy is looking at this metric. And the reason it's looking at this metric is, can it trust you? If it shows your item and people buy it, are they having a positive experience? If they are, they'll come back to Etsy. Etsy will have customers for longer, have loyal customers and make more money. So it wants to show customers the shops that are going to treat it well. And number 6 is actually policies. Having your policies filled in your shop is important. Etsy tells us they do consider this a ranking factor. So it's something you only have to do once, or rather keep it updated. But if you haven't done it yet, if you haven't filled in your policies, go do it right now. It helps your customers obviously know what your policies are. It covers your back for anything that the customers complain about that's unreasonable. If you've got it covered in your policies, that can help you. But it helps you rank slightly higher. Hope that helps. See you next time. How can you quickly improve your Etsy shop? I'm talking about those things that you can work on right now that will provide the biggest bang for your time or your buck to improve your Etsy shop. And to do that, we have to first understand what skills we have and what are important. So let's look at some of the skills I feel are important for running an Etsy shop. We have photography. That is a big one. Photography and videography nowadays. Social media. Again, good way to get noticed. SEO. If you've been here a while, you know I love me some SEO. Art, what you actually create, whether it's designs, physical art, creating words to put on a t-shirt, we'll count all of that in your art. marketing, which is a little different from social media, but still an important skill. And the final one is fame. Now, that's not necessarily an easy one to work on, but let's think about what we can do with all of these things. So, if you think about it, everybody has a different skill set. You might be kind of good at photography, but you're an expert in marketing. Some people are. Or your art is just absolutely amazing. Your social media game's amazing, or you're kind of good at SEO. Or the one that beats them all, the fame level. So, what you have to do is look at all of these and think, okay, so where is it that I am the best at all of these things? What skills do I have? And that gives you an idea of what you're good at, what you're least good at. Fame's always going to be a difficult one. If you've got it, then likely you're not here watching me anyway. So we'll assume that most people are low on the fame scale. But what we've got to think about is, as a person, when we sit down to decide, we've decided what it is that we can work on. Now, how to decide what it is to work on? You have to do the things you can't do. Have you ever heard someone say, I can't do photography? I can't do SEO. You have to work on the things that you're bad at, because at the end of the day, if this was your chart and you said you were amazing at SEO, you working, spending some of your time or some of your hard-earned money on SEO is going to have limited returns, because you're already up there, you already know what you're doing. So spending more and more and more hours on that is only going to result in small changes. However, if you say you're absolutely terrible at photography, any work you put into improving that is actually going to have bigger gains than you would think. And actually, that is true in life. Crazy things. Mum, I'm sorry to out you here. I remember all my life my mum's been saying to me, she can't touch her toes, she can't touch her toes. And I've been doing some, last year, due to an injury, I had some physio to do. And there were certain things, I had that same mindset as my mum. I'd look at the exercises, hear what the exercises were, and think, I can't do that. I can't do that. And I was almost kind of avoiding them. You do the things that are easy. But I thought, no, don't do the things that are easy. Don't do the things that are fun. Let's focus on these things that I can't do. And after a couple of weeks of doing the things that I can't do, I could suddenly do them. So look at this list. With the exception of fame, you can't just do fame, there's more to it. But look at the list and think, what's the thing that makes your heart drop the most? Actually, for me, it's social media. I'm the least good at that, really. So what are the things that you go, no, I can't do that? And think that's the thing you have to work on. So as a person, we generally have either time or money. Especially as an Etsy seller, it's unlikely we've got both. If you've got pots of money, it's probably because you're super busy. If you have loads of time, you probably don't have lots of money. So we think what we have to allocate to these things. Each month we'll have an amount of things that we can add. So I'm not saying any of the things that are working for you, you just stop doing. You know how much work you need to keep yourself at the level that you're at, how much social media you need to do, how much, if photography is your best thing, don't stop doing it. You still need to photograph your items and whatever, but you don't necessarily want to spend hours watching extra tutorials. So you've got your baseline, and then the time or money that you have left over at the end of that, you're going to allocate it to that thing that you're not so good at. So we take our money and we put it into, if we have a lot of money, we take our money and we put it into that thing that you're not so good at. We've got time and we've got money, so we pop them into our things and decide how that's going to build it all up. So I had a lot of time. I could spend a lot of time on photography. Maybe, now here's a nicer one in summer. So if you're watching this in summer, It's really good to get out and go for a walk and just take your camera with you. If you photograph with your phone every day, just take a ton of photographs. So you're going to feel better in yourself for getting outside, but you'll learn how your camera works just by taking pictures. Take 20 pictures, 100 pictures, whatever you want. Post some of them on your social media. See what your friends and family like, but also see what you like. Develop your own skills. Or marketing. If you had a little extra money, you could maybe take a course on that. Again, photography, if you have a little money, you can maybe hire someone to help you. Social media, hire someone to manage your social media. Pay for a tool that helps you post out to lots of social media. Allocate a bit of time every day. So you're taking your time and your money and putting them where they need to go the most, where they're needed the most. So you don't look and go, I'm absolutely fantastic at SEO, so I'm going to work on that because I find it fun and I'm good at it. You look at the thing on that list that you go, oh, I really hate that. Look at that and see if you can work on it, because that is going to give you the best investment for your time. As I say, fame is the only thing you can't just put time and money into and necessarily get it. You need to have a star factor for that. But I hope that helps. Just give you the little idea of what you need to be working on. Pick the thing you hate and you're not very good at it. Practice it and you'll get better at it, or you'll find the right person to help you with it. But that's the thing where the bang for your buck is. Hope that helps. See you next time. Does having more listings on Etsy help you rank higher? Does a new listing rank higher than a renewed listing? Yep, that's right. I've been running some more tests on my Etsy shop to prove or deny some of the Etsy myths out there. And the biggest, most persistent myth on Etsy is that you need loads of listings to do well on Etsy. But Pam, I hear you say, you already disproved that by finding top-selling shops with very few listings. Case closed. You don't need 100 plus listings to have a successful shop, right? Well, I was thinking, we didn't science that quite as hard as we could have. Etsy has mentioned that it looks at the performance of past listings to estimate how new listings may do, and thus to be able to figure out where it should rank. So what if that means that if you have more listings for a certain keyword, then Etsy may see you as an authority on that keyword and rank you higher? What if those people saying you need to make loads of listings have a point? So let's test this. I pick a listing, this cat bookmark, and use the rank checker on eRank to see where it's ranking for a bunch of keywords. Sure, I could have used the bulk rank checker, but I forgot. Why am I using the rank checker and not searching for my listings on Etsy? Well, the rank checker uses the Etsy API to see where Etsy ranks items before it adds those personalizations. It's possible that if I was doing a bunch of searches, then Etsy would learn about my behavior and might adapt the results to show me different things over time. So this removes the act of me changing the results. To remove the age factor for this listing, I then renew the listing and check where these keywords are ranking. Now all I do is duplicate this listing and optimize the copy for the keywords I was searching, then list the item, wait 15 minutes and off to the rank checker to check. Then duplicate that listing, leave them both live and check rank. I do this until I have 4 clones, so not cancelling the listing before, just duplicating and adding. And the results here are interesting. Okay. The graph and the sheet may be a little hard to read. Let me go into it. Renewing the listing increased its ranking for all the keywords that I was already ranking for, and it even had the listing ranking for an extra keyword, felt bookmark, that I wasn't ranking for before. eRank only shows you the ranking positions for the top 500 listings, so this was the only time any of my listings showed up for that keyword. All of my new clone listings were only able to rank for 2 of my keywords. The new listings always ranked lower than my existing listing, but each duplicate listing displaced the one before it. Exactly. They came into the exact same place as the last one had entered the search, and the listing below it displaced the one below that. Exactly. I didn't expect this at all, not for the ranking positions to be so exact. Interestingly, a couple of the new listings got hearts right away. I have so many followers that this does happen, but that single love from what won't have been search had no impact on the ranking at all. Obviously, with any tests on an Etsy shop, there are many limitations. This is not great science, but here's what I read into this. You tell me if you see anything different. Renewing a listing with good past history is better than creating new listings. Creating lots of listings doesn't directly help your listings rank for a keyword. Creating new listings doesn't hurt the ranking of good existing listings. Do these results change my thoughts on strategies? I've always recommended when targeting search to create several listings, a range of listings, not identical duplicates, but to list them over a few days. This is because a listing does get a boost when it's first created and then it drops down over time. So if you list your next listing when the last one is dropped in rankings, then you can expand the time when you have a listing showing up in search for that keyword you're aiming for. And you have more chance of being spotted by a shopper than sending good signals to Etsy and hopefully staying in the ranking because of the views and sales. To me, this actually strengthens my strategy. If you have a big following, then you could post all your listings all at once and drive your own traffic. But without a following, posting them all at once may well limit that time that you're seen in search. Do you need lots of listings? No. So why do people recommend it? As we've just seen, there's no algorithmic bonus to having lots of listings, but it's hard to know what exact combination of photos and keywords will work for your listings with your customers. So experimenting with different listings gives you more hooks in the water, more chance of finding a winning combination. And then once customers start buying your listing, then your whole shop can have a better chance of doing better. So having more listings won't hurt your shop, but plan them out and know what you're experimenting with each of them. 500 identical bad listings will not do better than 5 amazing listings. And is duplicating listings against Etsy rules? I had a whole run-in with Etsy about this issue. I'll fill you in a future video, so you're going to want to subscribe to see that old drama. And if you want to see if renewing listings lots is a good idea, you need to check out this video. Hello and happy January, Crafty Clan. If you're following along with my 6-month plan, then you know that January is our time for research, and it is the perfect time to check the keywords that worked. Hopefully October, November and December is the busiest time for you, so you'll have had the most number of data. I am not going to lie, last year was terrible in my Etsy shop, so I am gonna turn it around, gonna try and turn it around. And the first thing to do is a little bit of keyword research. So I'm taking you with me real time to show you what I'm doing, and hopefully you can follow along, do your own thing. And keyword research doesn't have to take hours. We'll find out how long it's going to take because I'm not going to cut anything, which is a little bit scary. So this is all real time. First thing I want to do is to make a keyword list. Even a free eRank account, you can get keyword lists. This is just a place to save everything in. You don't need to use a keyword list. You can use pen and paper if you want, but this is a whole lot easier, as you'll see. So we go to tools, this is erank.com, keyword lists. Although I also work for eRank, these videos are my own. So we go here and we just want to say create a new list, and I'm going to call this one, what was last year? It was 2023. That will do nicely. So we now have a happy Anthony, and we have our new list. So all I want to do, if you have your eRank connected up to your Google Google Analytics, then you get loads of cool data there. If you don't, what you can do is go into your Etsy shop and look at the stats there and pull the data from there and pop it in, type it manually into eRank. But I'm going to show you how to do it here. So I go on eRank shop, traffic stats, and this is getting all the data. And what we're going to do, my shop was on vacation mode for quite a while. So let's just look. I thought I said 2023. I'm confused at the year already. Last 15 months, because my stats are low, my data's low. So you want to pick as big a time period as you possibly can. And this is showing the keywords that I got the most visits for. Nice and simple. So these are my important keywords. And literally all I'm going to do is pick out the ones that I want to remember. These are my important keywords, so I want to remember them. I want to look at them. So all I have to do is, you see this 2023, this is my keyword list. It has 0 out of 100. And when I click the little grey star so that it goes gold, it becomes 1 out of 100. So I have saved this keyword that I think is a cool key, an important keyword for my shop. I've saved it to a keyword list. And I'm gonna, there's no point in not having all of these good ones here, or as good as they get, the ones that have the most visits. Now, what's going to happen, the way people search, the way search engines work, is over time, basically, you're going to have a lot of views come from lots of different random keywords. So I'm going to go through these and go like Samoyed plush, Havanese plush. I don't make plushies. That's just people are idiots. Dog bookmarks, good. These are keywords I want to follow and have a look at. They've worked for me. I don't need to take typos. That's fine. And it's a typo of plush. So I'm looking, I've got some dog breeds, cat bookmark. You know, these are all relevant for me. I can save up to 100 keywords. So again, don't want that. Don't want that. Don't want plush. Needle felt border collie. Yes, these are all things that work for me. Now, I only had 10 people visiting for them, but that could well be because my position on Etsy was so low. Could I do better with these keywords if I ranked a little bit higher? That's on average where I was ranking. So yeah, some of these, if I was ranking higher, they could be good keywords. So I'm just going to pick up. I'm not being fussy. I'm not. All I'm doing is, yeah, see, like I picked that mistake. It doesn't matter, but just all of them that look sort of random. Corgi gifts for women. That's an interesting one that I've never used before. So I'm learning stuff. Felt cat. These are all relevant. So you just click them all in. I'm loving this. So this breeds of dogs is giving me an idea that perhaps at some point I should sit down. What are the top 100 breeds of dogs? Make a listing for every breed of dog. I can totally do that. Oh, Welsh Springer Spaniel. Welshie. I've made them in the past. That's spelt wrong. Ebenezer. Corgi Butt. Dogs. That's a weird one that I'm ranking so high. Corgi merchandise. Never thought of that. Corgi bookhands isn't what I make, so I'm not going to take that. But bookmarks, felted corgi. And literally just go through and pick everything slightly relevant. Hey, made in Scotland. I used to have that as a tag. That's interesting. Just pick all of these that look kind of relevant. And these are keywords that kind of worked one way or another for me. Are they any good? Corgi slippers. No, I'm not picking that. Corgi bookmarks, plural. Yes. Cats. Yes. So what looks good? There's a lot. I'm seeing, I saw felt border collie, felted border collie plush. So although the word border collie by itself isn't great, potentially it hasn't been great for me. Potentially I could be getting, yeah, here we go, border collie statue. So people are looking for border collies, but they're looking for more long tail keywords. That is interesting. Felted bookmark. So these are all absolutely interesting things. Like I've been saying corgi butt bookmarks, but people search for cat butts as well. Interesting. Corgi ornament. Yeah, so I've got 56. I think 56 keywords. How long did that take me? I have no idea. But 56 keywords is pretty cool. And I've got some ideas like, oh, Skye Terrier, there we go. Fox Terrier, breeds of dogs. There's like ding ding in my head for something that I need to be doing. And this, hopefully that'll be for you. You can pull that. Now, if you don't have your Google Analytics connected to eRank, then pop on over to your Etsy shop, go into stats, open it up to a year, 15 months, get all the data you can, type it into a keyword list. But now we've got the 58 here. We just open this little thing and I go view list. And that's going to take me to the keyword list that I just created. And this literally, I'm not going to do too much. We're not building a listing or anything. We're just looking at it because there's all the data here. So this is really cool. For example, obviously the first thing we see is my shop name. People search for that. I have enough listings showing up. I don't even have to think about that. That's good. But bookmark. Now, yeah, I got some views for that. So what you can do here is I could write a note to myself, or I can just flag this and go like, green, this is a really good keyword that it's relatively high competition, but could I show up for that? Because there's search volume all year round. The same for bookmarks, plural. There's search volume all year round, so I maybe want to think about that. But it's easy if I have dog bookmark, cat bookmark, bookmark, cat. I'm optimized for bookmark, but it says, yeah, Pam, you're on the right track. Maybe keep going making bookmarks. But then we look at bookmark cat. It doesn't have a lot of searches. People did find me. They have found me for that. So yes, I will keep on making cat bookmarks, but yeah, I'll think about it. The same border collie. So that just showed, that is telling me. So I want to think about, there's a bit of search volume throughout the years. So I'm going to put that onto maybe an orange, an amber list to say kind of important, but it's not where my focus is going to be. But we are border collie statues. So border collies are kind of good. So maybe, okay, I'm actually going to bump that up. I want to be thinking of border collies a little bit more. Maybe make some more things. And we're looking, cat looks amazing. Unfortunately, cat bookmark. This, I'm just looking at the search trend graphs, by the way. This is the past, was it 15 months? Yep. The past just over a year, we're looking at the search trend. So cat is increasing, cats plural is decreasing. Chinese crested used to be good for me, but it doesn't have a whole lot of searches. But it's something I can look at what the most popular breeds of dogs are, or I can look at what the most uncared for breeds of dog, not uncared for, the most catered to. There we go. So we look, I mean, yeah, we can even see that here. If I search for corgi, now corgi's been pretty good for me, and it is one, I'm going to light green it, because it's not the highest search volume, but it's all right, and it's not a massive competition. It's all right. But I can look and go, okay, corgi compared to Chinese crested, if the search volume was a little higher, look, there's hardly anyone making Chinese crested things on Etsy. It's a really cute dog, by the way. So yeah, you just quickly look through all of this and go, what are my most important things? Like corgi butt bookmark, it's what my item is, but there's not a massive amount of searching. In fact, corgi butt bookmark, like 60 people searched in 1 month. There's 25 people selling that. That's like mainly me. Corgi Buddy. Yeah, those are all kind of me. Corgi Gifts is a fun one that pops up. So this is one that I might want to check seasonally. Was it Christmas? Let's make Christmas purple. You just make your own codes in your head. Corgi Gift for Women. Sadly, that was one that happened last year. Again, Corgi merchandise, not necessarily good. But Corgi ornament does peak a couple of times a year. So I'll put that on my Christmas list. And yeah, that's all we're going to go is go through, look at the search trend. All of these have brought me searches. People have found me for this. All of these. So like even if it's saying nobody's searching, it can be one or two people, or they might be searching in the UK, or a million and one other things. But so yeah, breeder dog. Actually, Havanese doesn't look awful. It does have some reasonable searches, so I'm going to give Havanese gets a light green. I've got a few listings for Havanese dogs, but yeah, so that's not a bad one. Made in Scotland, that's interesting. Last year, like a year past November, there was a peak, but not much. Yeah, and that is all there is to it. You look through, find stuff that has a reasonable trend. Unique bookmarks, that is interesting. Yeah, but that is all you need to do. I've made a list just now of keywords I want to keep an eye on. Yeah, that's all I want to do for the first stage. So I really want your keyword research doesn't have to take a long time. That was 14 minutes with me talking and getting distracted. So just all you are doing for just now is saving those important keywords. And it's as easy as that. And just doing that's given me some ideas, but I've not done a whole lot of research. So give it a try. Let me know how it goes for you. If you come up with any cool ideas, if you find some reasonable keywords that you didn't even know about, if you've got a new way of focusing. But that's January done of our monthly plan. It's a six-month plan. Anyway, thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.
So you're trying to improve your Etsy shop. You've researched and planned and you're ready to change your SEO, but you're wondering how long does it take for SEO to work on Etsy? Confusingly, when you ask this, you get 3 answers. Some people will say it's almost immediately, others will say it takes a couple of days, and still more will say it takes between 30 and 60 days. So who's right? And which camp are you in? Let me know in the comments, how long do you think it takes for SEO changes to work? Go on, type it in the comments. Oh, that's interesting. I can tell you, you are right. How do I know? Am I some kind of psychic genius? No, I can tell you because all 3 answers are kind of right. Let me go into this. When you make changes to your Etsy SEO, it takes around 15 minutes for those changes to show up. This is very easy to test. On an existing listing, one that's not performing well, don't play around with listings that are doing well, even for a fun test. Replace one of your tags with a made-up keyword that no one else is searching for. You can see when I search Pam Test, there are no listings for it. I change that one tag, immediately there's no change, there's still no listings for it. Let's wait 15 minutes. And there, actually exactly 15 minutes later, there it is, my one listing with that one crazy tag. So it's simple, you make a change to your Etsy listing and almost immediately it shows up in search. And plenty of us can tell you that on Etsy we've made a change to a listing or created a new listing and almost immediately it's sold, so they're definitely showing up very quickly. But let's have a look at case 2. When you change your Etsy SEO, it takes 1 to 2 days to see an impact for that change. Many people have reported to me when they create a new listing, they don't see it ranking in search. It seems when they dig deeper that it goes to around page 17 in search, not up to page 1 or 2 where it will get spotted by people.
And Etsy have told us that the majority of people buying from search buy from the first page of search. So if we're on page 17, we're unlikely to make any sales. And then the people watching their listings over a day or two see their items start to move up from page 17 and it's onto page 1 or 2. What is happening here? The thing that actually cleared this up for me was Etsy's Coders blog. This tells us that the personalization algorithm is only applied for the top few listings in search. Personalizations are not applied to every single listing that match and rank in Etsy search. And the amount of listings they say that are included in the personalization algorithm is roughly the amount of listings it would take to get to page 17 in search. So it seems a brand new listing on Etsy matches almost immediately for search. The algorithm notices it, but it potentially takes a couple of days to get picked up by the personalization algorithm, a totally separate algorithm. I've actually done an in-depth deep dive into this, and I'll link that video at the end if you want to check out more information here. I know it's a confusing one. Okay, so it's 15 minutes for an updated listing and 1 to 2 days for a brand new listing. What are people talking about this 30 to 60 days? When you make changes to your Etsy listing, it takes 30 to 60 days for that SEO to show up. Well, in those first two cases, we're talking about very basic examples. The algorithm did not know anything about your listings other than those keywords that you gave it. But Etsy does tell us that other factors impact where you rank in search. Etsy tells us these other factors include how well your item performs in search, how it converts compared to the other listings that are shown for that keyword. If you keep an eye on where your listing ranks, you'll notice over time quite often your listing will rank a little higher, and then over several weeks or months it starts to drop off and then finds a new level and stays there. Or occasionally it finds a higher level and stays there. What gives? Well, Etsy tell us that they give a new or renewed listing a boost in search. This is so it gets a chance to show it to shoppers and get some understanding of how the listing performs. And once that boost wears off, the listing starts to drop in search. Unless, of course, the listing does outstanding. If your listing, while it gets that boost, performs better than the other listings that Etsy used to show in search, then your listing will start to rank higher. And the length of time it takes for your listing to drop or increase depends on how popular that keyword is. The more people that are searching, then the more options Etsy has to show your listing to those people, and the quicker it can gather data on your listing. So for a more popular keyword with lots more people searching, Etsy understands faster where your listing should be placed. So how can we use all of this information? Well, in my opinion, we know in general, unless you have an amazing listing, the first few days are when it's going to rank the highest in search. So if you know a certain keyword is seasonal, then perhaps you could create a few listings and rank them over a few days at the time when the buyers are just starting to search. This way you'll be ranking highest when there's people there, and if they see your item and buy it, then you could end up ranking higher and higher and be in the best place by the time the peak buyers are searching. The eRanks Trend Buzz tool can show you when keywords are taking off, so keep an eye on that regularly. So getting in there before your competitors means you have some authority, and Etsy knows what your item's about before your competitors' items even show up. And hopefully if your item is awesome, it can stay ranking throughout the whole of the season.